It's interesting we say work-life balance as if work is something that's the opposite of life in some sense. I don't know where people think work versus life. People understand that there's a level of flexibility that comes with working from home because in the middle of the day, you could be taking an hour off, a half hour off, and doing personal stuff. Working from home, there's no hard boundary anymore. But we're setting boundaries so everybody knows between 6 to 8 p.m., I am not available. Yeah, if needed, I can do something after 8 for an hour or whatever time it takes because I know I have that flexibility. If I need to take 3 hours off and go somewhere, I can do it. In the office, you would at least get that 90-minute break or that 1 hour break called the commute. Like working in New York, I would be on that commute often 3 hours a day on a ferry or a boat. That'd be the best time to relax, maybe checking your phone, but mostly doing nothing consequential and simply being. Every individual might reflect on what they have done to their 3 hours of commute time that they had daily. Either they've ended up allocating it towards work or towards life. Are we consciously recognizing that working from home, not going to a physical office, we are keeping that balance that used to exist, which is not necessarily a function of the company or the project or what is being provided to us. It's in our control. Are we getting more goal-oriented? Mostly we are work-oriented, more task-oriented, something that someone tells you to do. Therefore, work-life balance is about outcome orientation, understanding what the expected outcomes are, and working towards delivering those outcomes and not necessarily working towards delivering the tasks. If you're working as a barista in a coffee shop where you have to do these steps day in and day out, every day in a repetitive way, at some point it gets mundane. Take the beans, you grind them, you filter them, you put the hot water, wait for the coffee to steep up. At some point, those tasks become highly repetitive. Absolutely no variance. Part of that work-life balance is to understand how repetitive or mundane your job has become. If all people wanted was this one particular kind of coffee, dark roast, cream and sugar, by the time the 100th customer walks in, you might not feel the greatest because you get tired of repetition. The issue is these tasks don't add up too much. Imagine if you made just one tiny mistake every time. You didn't even go and clarify with somebody what the steps should be. That's why companies like Starbucks are really good because they have a series of standardized steps and tasks to follow. They automate it. They put guardrails like in a bowling lane. The ball doesn't roll off and it goes and hits the pins every time. So companies like Starbucks, McDonald's, franchises, establish standards and processes around mundane tasks, repetitive tasks. They automate quite a lot of them, and then some which are just hard to automate. They put a process around it so you won't veer too far off. So there was no structure. And you made a slight mistake. You had to go and rework. Oh, you ended up putting cream in my coffee. I wanted light milk. So maybe because the instructions were not captured properly up front, you would not make the right coffee and you would have to repeat or redo whatever you did, doubling the effort. If you're working 10 hours a day and repeating tasks because you didn't get the right instructions the first time, your work-life balance will be off. Are you taking enough help from people to give you the instructions? You're now technically spending 10 hours where you could have spent 5 or maybe 6 or 8, depending on tasks that you rework. You rework because of not understanding what the task was, not breaking the task down properly, not getting agreement from others on what the task is. Whatever work that you do has to lead to that outcome that is needed. So the mechanisms for work-life balance, one of them would be rapid feedback loop. If you're not sure, you go and ask. We live in a very instant message-based world. It adds a little bit of a faster pace and you accelerate alignment to outcome. As long as the outcome is being achieved, your work-life balance will be there. The third aspect of work-life balance, it's about identifying your job. It's about understanding deeply what you do, understanding deeply the outcome, and being able to take those judgment calls when to turn off and when to turn on your accessibility. One practice that I use is mute conversations during a period of time. You can mute group for an hour, for 8 hours, or forever. And depending on what level of involvement you need, you could do that. And then setting a protocol saying, message me directly if you need my attention, because I'm working on these other 5 tasks. And that's great, because that's setting a boundary for your life. Because work's really part of life. A lot of it is about managing and understanding the situation, what you're trying to do. What is it that can be either automated or delegated, given to someone else to do, who can do either a better job or a faster job or a cheaper job than you. You may actually be creating your work-life balance. Work-life balance is an opportunity. Even recognizing that the work-life balance is off is a start. When the balance is off, you feel the consequences. If you're in an ideal work situation, which is your dream job and it's not mundane and you've figured your guardrails around it, should be fun. It should be like a game, and you shouldn't feel the pinch of the consequence anymore. If you establish that boundary, if you identify your role, you grow. That's the aspect of work-life balance to consider. Then for a period of time, you have to modify and change your role till you learn the skills on that job. You get really good at doing what you're doing. You were able to make that coffee without any spills, with a perfect taste and color day in and day out. Then you have to modify and change your role till you learn the skills on that job. Outcome orientation, understanding what you can automate, building a construct for yourself so it feels like a game and you don't feel the pace. Just like how you could be inside an airplane and it's going at 800 miles an hour and you don't feel the pace. So your life could be running like a rocket ship, like a satellite going at thousands of miles an hour, or an airplane going at 600 kilometers an hour, or a car going at 120 kilometers an hour. And you don't feel the pace because you've settled yourself in the best possible way with the momentum. You understand the guardrails. You understand how to synchronize with your work. It's that synchronous nature of your mind and your actions with your work that really create your work-life balance.